Alright, I want to welcome you to another episode of JPublic Plays Dark Souls 2 Scholar of the First Sin. It's a somewhat special episode because they have released a new patch which is supposed to fix the durability problem with pokey items, as well as the fact that as of today, I have completed all the achievements in this game. I am now able to feel quite confident in my ability to complete this playthrough and not make a complete fool of myself, except for when I try to do the DLC and die horribly. So, let's see where we are. Let's load up our inventory. And who have I killed? Last Giant, Pursuer, Dragon Rider Soul, Old Dragon Slayer Soul, Flexel Sentry, Ruined Sentinel, and Lost Sinner. So I've done the Lost Sinner. Okay. Where to go next? Where to go next? This is a tough choice. You know what? There's really only one option. So, I believe we saw Lycia after defeating the Dragon Rider. After you see Lycia, she shows up here, and I don't have enough souls to actually do what I need to do. I may have to burn some. She will... I think I can just burn one of these. No, I need to burn something else. I'll burn one of these too. Lycia shows up here, and let's hear what she has to say.
This room is not as it seems. There are two, not one pathways leading out. And only this lovely thing reveals the other path. And this, you lovely thing, only runs on miracles. Shall I provide you with one? So,
as well as having her spells I can buy, which I'm not really going to, I'm doing regular spell casting. She can also move the path, and it costs 2,000 souls. You only really need to do this once, because of the fact that the other path, which leads to the Hide or Hate Tower of Flame, because the other path I've completed, if I need to go back there, I can just warp there from any bonfire.
To cast miracles, you must have strong faith in the gods. Miracles began as tales told by gods. We preserve their will with law, pray to their greatness, and are blessed in return. You must know it. Miracles have been passed down through us since the first flame. Isn't it extraordinary to think they've existed since the very origins of the world? And now, you can have this power for yourself. Don't miss out on the road. May the power of miracles offer your souls.
I like Lycia. You find out she's not all she seems, and in her dialogue you see a lot of hints of that. Miracles are really interesting the way they are a lore in the game. Spells are actual spells. Hexes are just spells using dark instead of regular sorcery. Miracles are supposedly actual tales, and when you cast them, you recite the entire story, and that creates the magical effect. Which is why you get things like Great Heal Excerpt, where it's a part of the actual story of Great Heal and therefore has a lesser effect. it's a kind of interesting. In Demon Souls, the way they did miracles was miracles were supposedly, you know, this pure holy thing, and magic was, or sorcery was this, you know, dark soul arts, except you ended up discovering that they were basically the same thing. The god that was being prayed to by the caster of miracles was basically the head evil demon, and yeah, it was kind of this great fun hypocrisy. This is the dark guy. He sells a lot of dark spells.
The dark stirs. I see it. The dark has sparked within you. My name is Falcon. I will trade with you. What do you need?
Falcon is a dark caster.
Lies closest to the dark. That is why I came here. This kingdom collapsed long ago. All that are left are either undead or hollow. Save a few misfits like myself.
It's very interesting how they count there's a difference between undead and hollow. I think what you're supposed to assume is that everybody here is undead. Only the ones who have gone really insane are actually hollow.
I went to a great school in the south, but neither sorcery nor pyromancy appealed. I learned nothing. Nothing at all. It was there that I happened upon the dark. It drew me in, the nebulous dark. Soon I was drawn to this land where dark runs deeper than anywhere else. Hexes originated here in ancient times. They were once a form of sorcery, but the practice was lost, then later rediscovered. Those devoted to hexes are a lonely lot, but nevertheless they give their life to their art. Such is the fate of we practitioners of dark.
I love his dialogue.
What drew me to the dark? I do not know. Hexes are more than mere tools to me. I feel affinity and warmth, something universal, nostalgia even. Those who discover dark realize this, and they never come back. This land lies close. This kingdom, all the sake of
Okay, so he's now repeating himself. In Dark Souls 1, the hexes you found were actually from the land of Ulasil, which was the DLC area and was in the far past. One of the characters in the game, Artorias, who was mentioned, actually tried to fight the dark in Ulasil after they dug up the first human Manus, and he went, and his essence went insane, and it corrupted the entire place and created the abyss that was expanding, and Artorias tried to fight it and got swallowed up. But the spells from there, as another character said, they're not quite so refined as the spells that you had been casting all around, you know, the sorceries. They were more of an approximation, they called them. What it really ended up with in Dark Souls 1, dark spells, these hexes, did mostly physical damage. They were awesome. I mean, I loved them. They were great. In this, they actually do dark damage. And it's interesting that he says he finds it familiar because theoretically all humanity has a dark soul, therefore casters of the dark are actually realizing that. I don't have any souls, so I can't really buy anything, but I'll run through his spells. Magic Barrier increases your defense. I don't use it very much. Dark Orb, 21 casts. It's actually a really good offensive spell. It's a staff weapon spell. Let's see if we can read it. This is the dark version of magic weapon or lightning weapon or fire weapon. You coat your weapon with darkness and you do more damage. One of the things about casting these enchanting your weapon this way is that if you've already infused your weapon, you can't enchant it. So a lot of people will take a weapon and just take it up to level 10 or level 5 and not enchant it, or not infuse it so that they can enchant it, because this is actually more effective. But it uses up spells, or it uses up items. I don't use it that much because I tend to be a do everything with your right hand and leave your left hand for your shield. So I will often switch what's in my right hand, and when you switch an item that's enchanted, it loses its enchantment. Resonant Soul is an offensive spell that you can cast if you're using chimes. You get 21 casts out of it. I think it uses like 100 souls per cast. Like, it actually eats up 100 souls per cast. And if you don't have the souls, it's very weak. So when you're much later in the game, these resonant spells are actually really useful. You can do quite a bit with them. Great Resonant Soul, a lot more damage, eats 500 per cast. Resonant Flesh, I think it puts a slow drain on your number of souls, and then it just gives you permanent regen. Resonant Weapon, I don't remember how many it eats, but it does Dark Weapon, but it does it a lot better than this one. But you eat a bunch of souls to cast it. So, other items he has. He has a Chaos Rapier, which is a great weapon that I want to get, but I need to get a bit more faith for. Archdrake's Staff is a catalyst for casting spells. It's not bad. I don't use it that much. It's got fairly good scaling, but and then they've got a chime version of it. Again, not bad. What I don't like about it is it's kind of heavy. And they have a shield. It's got really good dark resist, like amazing dark resist, but I don't use it. Ring of Life Protection. You wear it, if you die, nothing happens. There's another one called Soul Protection, which even protects you from curse. And the last items he has, Dark Pine Resin. This basically does the same thing as Dark Weapon. So it's a consumable item. I'll be back for you. Huntsman Copse. Or Huntsman Copse, sorry. I don't like this area. I don't like this area at all. The boss of this area really, really causes me grief. That was freaky. You see this guy here? He's more or less a prototype for enemies you will find a lot later. You find guys like this, hollowed guys, practically nude, wielding a weapon clumsily and causing you no end of grief, all over the place. Some of the ones you see later will actually have dark on their weapon and do extreme amounts of damage. They're really annoying. I'm going to blow this guy up. And then I'm going to run back because I did something dumb and didn't save. So, or didn't rest the bonfire, and I need spells. So we're going to go do that. And then we're going to go back. And we're going to stab this guy again. Boss ahead. Nice. The boss for this area I super hate. It's called the Undead Chariot. I freely admit I cannot beat the Undead Chariot without help. I just can't. I have never done it. And there's probably people all over the place going, get good. Well, kiss my arse. I don't like this area. It's really dark. You can see it now because, well, I have my brightness up super high. Prisoner's Tatters. Eh. But yeah, normally in here you'd have your, I'd be wanting a torch to see what I'm doing. So, there's stuff down here. Oh, I also mentioned these moths. These moths will spray poison. They're annoying. Kill them. They also drop poison mosses every time they die. So, that's kind of a trade-off. So, in this area, the best way to deal with it is to find that, run and jump, and land here. And then carefully drop. You don't want to go all the way down. All the way down is bad because then you get poisoned like this. And then I die. Oh boy, that was close. Life gems. I hate poison. Poison is such a pain. So you can usually counteract poison by using 2 regular life gems that will get rid of most of it while they're running. It can actually take quite a while to get rid of it though, so it's kind of a pain. It's better to just not get poisoned. This guy here is a basilisk. He breeds poison. He's a giant version of them, which means he's about 8 times more annoying. What he breeds is petrification. Petrification is a pain in the butt. If it builds up to full, you immediately die. Like, you're just dead. When you come back to life, you're cursed. So it's like you've died multiple times. So, not great. And here's the weapon I was looking for. This is Rickard's Rapier. Not to be confused with Rickard's Red. No, which is a beer. Rickard's Rapier is a really good weapon that I'm going to need a bunch of decks to actually use properly. But, let's see if I can show you it. So, regular, standard stabby weapon like the one I have now. Little shorter range, but still doesn't matter. This is its full though. That's its heavy attack. It's kind of fun. I'm going to probably go build that up. It's actually a really good for putting on if you have the stats for it and you're doing raw. Rickard's Rapier is actually really good for it because it doesn't do huge damage. The best rapier in the game is actually a DLC rapier called the Ice Rapier. It does bleed on every hit, which is kind of a waste because bleed is useless. I find anyway. And its secondary is a projectile attack, which I rarely use, but it's just so powerful. So yeah, so we've gone down there. We go in here, and there's a bunch of these jerks who I'm going to clear out. This room is dark, but there's a trick you can do with this room, which I'll show you once it's safe. Sorry, I'm just a kitten. Getting hurt, not being overly skilled. So in this area, Bandit's Knife. Bandit's Knife is really good for backstabbing. I think I've mentioned that. Great backstab weapon. This is a hole. Do not fall in the hole. So, let me show you something neat. You can shoot the boards off the window, and then this room has light. You can actually do this from the other side of that wall, which is the alternate way into this area. I'll show you guys it when once I finish this. So yeah, so I've cleared out that area, climb up here. As you enter, you will be attacked by a guy. There's a guy down there, and then another guy. It gives me some more throwing knives. Throwing knives are actually remarkably powerful. I believe I've mentioned this before. That did not work the way I hoped. So, fall down here. Let me show you something. This way. Look familiar? Yeah, this is where I came in. And then I jumped off over there. So, the alternate way up here is to go up here, and then... So weird playing this game with headphones. I hear all these things that I don't hear normally because I'm used to playing with just earbuds. So I don't have quite the same sound quality, and it's kind of freaky. Oh no! There's a guy here! I get hit by that guy about half, 2/3 of the time. It's mostly just dumb. Ooh, ooh. What are all these guys doing here? Guess all my running around activated them. So, this area right here is kind of interesting. I'll show you guys how to deal with it, but first I need to... fail at stabbing a guy in the face. Cracked red eye orbs used to invade other people. I have never used them because I don't invade. There's an item over there. That's very important. We'll see it. But here is our next bonfire. And here is the most useless shortcut in the game. Like that's an epically useless shortcut. There are just not words for how useless that is. So there are two ways to get this item that's down here. One is to run all the way through the zone, get to that bridge, and try and fall off nicely. The other one is to not put on my walking shoes, put on my running shoes, and run. And Viola. And you get a token fidelity, which means that if you aren't doing PV, any sort of co-op or anything, that's how you can get the item to go talk to the dude in the Cathedral of Blue. It's also a Pharaoh's Lockstone, which are always useful. And then we're here again. And I'm going to see if I can get that item. I don't think I can. Nope. Oh well. In the interest of time, I'm just going to homeward bone. And then rest. Now, I am human, which means theoretically I could get help. But I'm not seeing any sort of summon signs, which is a bad sort of thing. I'm just going to check something. I might be out-leveled for this area, which is going to really suck. I hope I'm not. So as you run up, there's a guy here, Guy here. And some items. Okay, as you walk here, you can see in the distance there's a dude running away from us and a big dude who's just walking away. The dude who's running away from us is a new addition to Scholar of the First Sin. I don't really get what the point is. He doesn't drop anything particularly good. I just don't know. And I'm trying to avoid and not get poisoned. There is a moth right there. Switch your spells. Shoot in the face. Continue on with your life. This summon sign, their morning star, whatever. This summon sign is for Bashful Ray. I'm going to save it till later. Because it's just a shade summon sign, it means he's limited. So I'm going to try and save it for when it will be most useful. These guys can be very tricky. Their weapons, which are called full moon sickles, actually go through shields a little. So, be careful of them. Aromatic ooze applies magic to your weapon. Second, we'll get rid of the poison. And then we'll deal with another Forlorn. Don't know if I've seen this. This is, if I haven't introduced it, I'll do it now. The Forlorn is an addition for Scholar of First Sin. They appear all over the place. There's two different types. There's this guy with a greatsword, and there's another one with a scythe. And they evade you all over the place. And they're not really that hard. I mean, he says after backstabbing him. Don't find them that hard. I mean, I find them they're tricky, and I totally deserve that hit. He's blocking right now. Oh, that would have been awesome if it worked. Let's try it again. There we go. Every time he invades, you get a human effigy, like you do from most invasions. And every time you kill one, Strayed, who's a guy who I haven't introduced you guys yet, I will eventually once I get another another fragrant branch of yore. Every time you kill one, he will also give you or Strayed will sell one of their pieces of equipment. Their equipment is actually not bad. On my Platinum character, I use the armor and the Forlorn armor and the Forlorn leggings because they're just so good. So yeah, so you go up this hill a little, you drop on top of this, you can get into this area, and then you get another Sublime Bone Dust, which I can use to level up my Estus Flask when I get around to it, and spell called the Soul Spear, which in late game and in New Game Plus is a fantastic spell. My achievement character, his entire spell roster is Soul Spears and Crystal Soul Spears, because they're just that good. And I hate these guys so much, because they kill me pretty consistently. These guys, they use dark weaponry, and they're fairly powerful. I just don't like them. So, because of the problems I have with this zone, I mean, namely the fact that I can't do it by myself, I'm gonna burn a human effigy here. Like, the fact that I can't beat this boss that I'm going for, which is called the Undead Chariot, or Executioner? Can't remember. But because of the fact that I can't do it by myself, and I'm gonna try. Like, I'll admit, I will try, because I'm putting myself through this abuse for you, my dear viewer. I'm going to do it. But because of the fact that I know I'm going to have trouble doing it myself, especially because of the fact that I'm using completely the wrong weapon to fight it with. I'm going to implement a rule, and this rule will apply to the general game and will especially apply to the DLC, because the DLC causes me no end of grief. There's just so many bosses in there I cannot solo. And that is the 3 attempt rule. 3 attempt rule goes like this. If on recording I die 3 times against the boss, I will stop recording. I'll stop the recording then, and I will go back and do it by my lonesome. And you all will have to live with the fact that you don't get to see me do it. But we need to progress more than you all. Then I'm gonna sit there and show you guys hours of footage of me failing, and so yeah, that's just what I'm gonna do. So yeah, you kill those 2 guys. The skeleton shows up behind you, which I will kill. The notched whip, which I found here, is a whip that has bleed. I actually use it quite a bit, and there's one area in the game where it's just so fantastic to have the item. It just seems to be tailor-made. Whips seem to be tailor-made for that area, for just making your life easier. So I use one there every time, and it just makes my life just simple. Excuse me. Anyway, we're going to see if I can make it all the way to the boss. I'm going to get to about here. You notice these things, whatever the hell they are. Their weapons are coated with dark. So, something to take into account. And I'm trying to get these guys. There we go. There's one of them. One of the worst things you can do here is somehow, and I'm not sure exactly what the mechanic is, but I've done it myself, you can aggro 4 of them at once. And they will chase you forever. And believe me, trying to deal with 4 of them at once is a misery I don't wish on my worst enemy. And yeah, there's one up there. Come on. There he is. I want to mention something about how my weapons are set up. If you look at my weapon order, you can see that it's bow, then magic, then sword. The reason I have it set up that way is because usually what happens with me is I'm casting magic and then I need to switch to melee weapon very quickly. So it's really easy for me to have magic, then sword. Rarely do I need to do anything fast with the bow, because I use the bow usually for sniping. And so I don't really need to worry about being able to switch quickly. Basically, if I do need to switch quickly, I'm doing something very wrong. This is Bashful Ray. He's a new guy. He uses daggers. He actually is really good. He does a lot of damage very quickly once he gets going. But his AI is kind of weird. A lot of times you'll sit there with him and you'll see him and he's got binoculars out and you're like, what, why? Why are you doing that? So, and he's wearing like some sort of hush gear to hide his footsteps. I don't know. It's just weird. So, back here. Back here. This bridge, a lot of people die on this bridge. You have to remember, go right, then left, then you're safe. And you can see there's guys hanging from the bridge. They will eventually come up and attack you. And then this is the Undead Purgatory. Undead Purgatory is actually a Covenant location, more than anything. Really the only reason to come here is there's a Covenant here. There's also this dude. And he's about 1,000,000 times easier if you have Ray around. To distract him. Oh yeah, Ray has spells. Ray is actually kind of badass. Okay. I have no idea how useful Ray is going to be here, but I'm hoping. I hate this blood thing that you see. Really annoying. So the way this boss goes, he runs around and around and around. And the only safe place is basically one of these alcoves. And if you get nicked, you're dead. You can actually dodge past it when it goes by, but yeah. Alright, well, I'm going to end for the day. This may be a little bit short. I just wanted to get there and show you why I hate that boss. When I return next time, I'll try and do it again. So, see you later, guys.